Nation! Welcome back to the Bros.
Bros. We,
Stop
we,
it.
we, we've been practicing that. Very
Stop it.
synchronized.
Stop it. Margos,
So
we are a day late, but
we are a day late. In case you guys are wondering, we had a little technical difficulty last night.
it
We
was
had
just
a
technical.
technical. We had kids. I didn't have kids. He has kids.
Those kids just ended up crying, and there was just a lot of stuff. But we're not gonna get into that because you guys don't care. But Margos, since we're a day late, how are you doing?
Well, my friend, it's Friday. Well, Friday evening, which means we are less than 24 hours from kickoff here at the Riot. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the weekend. Everybody's happy for the weekend, and especially when it's a Saturday night back at the Riot. So what more can you ask for?
Um, that it's not so hot, but
Yeah, it's gonna get worse next week.
I'm not excited.
No,
Though
no,
I prefer this over snow. That's just me. I'm not
they,
a
they,
winter kid.
they both are terrible. They both are terrible in their own ways. But for you, how are you doing?
After last night's fiasco, I'm doing a lot better. I had a whole day to decompress because sometimes you get really riled up, but we're good. We're
We are
good.
good.
We are
We
happy to be here.
we are happy to be here, and whatever day it is, it's always a good time here with you guys.
It's always a good day to talk about soccer, and it's also a good day to talk about Real.
Absolutely. So with that, let's just jump right into it. So we had a match on. I like it. Very very synchronized there.
You said jump right into it.
Bing! We had a match Wednesday against the bitter rival Kansas City. I was about to call them Kansas City Wizards.
Because we were just talking about the Wizards.
We were sporting Kansas City to be exact. Um, and before we dive into what actually happened, we had a lot of changes from the Orlando game to this game in the formation with the lineup.
Seven
So
changes.
7 changes to be exact. So we'll start with the goalie. So we have McMath who didn't start. Beavers, the young Beavers started. No changes in the back line. Well, obviously Silva's back there.
So yes, there's one change.
One change. Excuse me there. We do see the debut of the one and only Palacio.
Palacio, that's correct. So the
Um,
whole midfield changed.
whole midfield change. So Loffelson filling in the spot for Pablo Ruiz, who is on the bench. Gomez filling on that right side. Oviedo, who normally plays left back, he's playing left mid. And then Krylock and the Moose playing up top. Chicho on the bench, along with Anderson Julio.
And and Luna.
And Luna. Can't forget Luna.
Yep. So there was a lot of changes. And what were your first impressions when you saw Oviedo on the left mid?
I was like, what? What is going on? I was kind of hesitant because he's one who right now for the defense, I'm not really sold on him. On that position, I'm still iffy, but he definitely showed out in this game. He had a tremendously better game than usual than he's had so far.
So it was an interesting move. I don't know if it was due to maybe lack of people that were able to play that position that traveled, but it didn't work out badly.
No.
To summarize what I thought of that left side, it was almost like Brody and Oviedo could interchange. Brody could move up and do his whole crossing things. Oviedo could run that line as well. Where he had a couple of crosses, he had a couple of shots. We'll get to that,
Yeah.
but that combo, I almost want to say it was genius because of how we play our left backs, or sorry,
Yeah.
left backs, how we play our wing backs, how they move up and are involved in the offense. That was a genius move, especially seeing that we didn't have another midfielder to replace Luna.
Yeah, and likewise, I forgot to mention it. No Sava. Sava stayed home due to injury, um, which is good on his part because that just gives extra time to rest, and no need to rush that at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but let's get into this game because yes, we had a lot of changes, and I think the changes affected how we played in the first half.
Oh my goodness, yes.
To summarize the first half, it was not as good as what we've seen in the past couple of games. In fact, yeah,
I get
it wasn't as
it.
good.
It was a C minus.
Yeah, it was passable, but I mean, when I say passable, I mean we didn't fall lay over and die. That's what
but
I'm saying.
but there were a lot of areas that you're shaking your head or like what happened. So 24th minute into this game, Nelson Palacio on his debut, with a beautiful shot. He just goes for it, about 20 plus yards out, and very ambitious, not afraid at all. What were your thoughts? First things first, seeing that shot.
A couple of things. One, it was like 25 yards.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like specific. And two, I'm gonna use a word that you use a lot before. It was a banger.
It was a banger. It was.
I feel so hip now.
You should.
Um, it was a rocket,
It
and
was.
what makes me really happy about seeing that shot is one, he has the confidence to just rip it from that far. Two, that means we have two defensive center midfielders that are willing to take those long distance shots and can hit those long distance shots.
Oh, absolutely.
It's one thing to get it. It's one thing to just hit it and hit it hard, and it
Uh-huh.
just goes everywhere, sprays everywhere. Um, but another thing is to hit it on frame.
Yeah.
And Pablo Ruiz and now Palacio, we've seen
Yep.
can hit it on frame.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've seen what Pablo Ruiz can do with that left foot of his, scoring from 68 yards out in DC.
Yes.
Yes. So now Nelson doing this on his debut, it's like, frick, give the man the ball.
Which makes us really dangerous. In fact, I saw a stat, I can't remember from who, and this is gonna kill me, but I wish I remember who. Someone put the average distance of shots out of from all the MLS teams, and Real Salt Lake has the longest distance average shot with 19.2 yards, I think. But I think it also helped us the 68 yarder from Pablo. But it doesn't. It shouldn't take away from the fact that yes, that was one shot, and that does skew maybe a little bit the data. But we are also the highest shooting team in the league. We take the most shots.
Do you I was gonna go on to that next note. Do you feel like we're kind of afraid to be taking shots inside the box?
I don't. I think the beginning of the season we weren't a team that had a lot of players to be able to play inside the area. So
Mm-hmm.
we couldn't cross it and get ahead on it unless it was like it was a set play, a
Yeah,
free kick corner.
if it was only Glad on the corners.
Right. And so our only chances were if we were going to cross it in is that a rebound would come out and we would just launch one back in, which a lot of the times that's what happened. Or
Mm-hmm.
we would be on a breakaway and we've seen Sava. Remember where I can't remember what episode we talked about it, but where he does his cut inside with the outside of his right
Yep,
and then curls it with his right foot. He does that
exactly.
from 19, 20 yards out.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
um, I think the data showing that one, we take one of the most shots in the league, and two, the longest shots, I think has to do with what kind of players we have and the style of play that we have, which is run the lines, cut in, and if it doesn't go in the air, it's on the ground, just like Luna's goal. Luna's goal was right at the 18 or at
Mm-hmm.
19 ish.
Yeah.
That's a long distance shot.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
those are the kind of plays that we run.
Yeah, I would agree. It's definitely based on the players that we have. They're not afraid, I would say, to be taking those inside the box shots, but they're more courageous. They're like, I'm gonna go for it. Why not? So good on Nelson Palacio. He's setting a good mark for these other players. So a couple of minutes later, 27th minute, we then see Jasper Laffelson, who's filling in that spot for Pablo Ruiz, with a great pass over to Oviedo right there on the corner of the box, just drills the post, something we haven't seen at all from Brian Oviedo that much at all this season.
Well, it was strange. Well, it was strange to see him shoot, but the fact that it was set up where Loffelson comes down on the left side to support Oviedo,
Mm-hmm.
gets the ball and sees that Oviedo is making a run inside, passes it to him. Oviedo opens up his hips and launches it from roughly about the same spot that Sava launches his shots.
Yeah.
And one, that was a heck of a strike. I don't know how often Oviedo actually hits those. So one for me, I'm surprised, to be honest, that it was even on frame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Two, it was one heck of a strike, and I'm absolutely stunned that it didn't go in.
Yeah. Both shots from Palacios and Oviedo, I'm surprised one of them didn't go in because the pace, they're both kind of knuckled balls, so it just had that flair to it.
Yeah, it was really good. I was really impressed with those two shots, but they ended up being um to summarize the first half without going into the other stuff, those were two out of our three shots
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
whole half. So there
So
you go. That's all we're going to talk about for RSL in the first half.
yeah, so right after those two great attempts by Nelson and then Oviedo, it kind of went south. It did not. It was just kind of us chasing the rest of the first half, because we fast forward 3 minutes later to the 30th minute, where we get an unfortunate event where we get Jasper Loffelson with a heavy pass back to Beavers, who then tries to kick the ball away, but then uh, taken away by Radoja, who then passes it to Johnny Russell. Russell crosses it over to Daniel Salawi with the volley back of the net.
So you have to give credit to Kansas City on this one
Oh,
because
100%.
of the pressure that they applied to Loffelson. Loffelson could not turn. Now, um, placing blame is almost like a waste of time at this point. Um, you could say Loffelson passed it too hard to Beavers. You could say Beavers didn't clear it correctly. He cleared up the middle instead of to the outside. Um, I don't know how much you could blame the lost mark on Salawi on the backside. There's so many spots where you could be like, guys, what the heck? So if we're gonna summarize this, for me it would be Loffelson, don't shoot a knuckleball at your goalkeeper. Gavin, you know where to place the ball. Don't kick it up the middle. And then everyone else on the defense, when we turn over the ball, find your mark.
Yeah, we were talking about this kind of last time when we were trying to do our episode, but it's kind of what you learn in basics of soccer. For Gavin Beavers, you shouldn't be kicking it straight into the middle, kicking it to the outside, because that kind of where things went wrong. He kicks it to a wide open Redoja, and then right to a very skillful Johnny Russell, who you don't leave Johnny Russell open ever.
Right. I mean, it's really unfortunate on Gavin's behalf because Gavin had one heck of a game. I mean, granted that was probably his one big mistake in the whole game. Yes, it cost us a goal, but again, he was also kicking it with his weaker foot. It looked like.
Yeah, yeah. I believe he's normally right-footed, but he kicked that with his left foot.
Yeah, so it's a tough position to be in. I mean, anyone who's had any kind of pressure put on them in a game with a ball, it's tough to get your body to do what you want it to do, especially when you don't have that much experience. Gavin is getting his experience, which
Yeah,
this is good.
yeah. Being 18 years of age, normally you would see kids at that age still playing for the Monarchs, still playing at that level. But the fact that he's already been called up to be playing games, already Open Cup, playing in league games, it's like kudos to him. The sky's the limit for him.
Yeah. So it is what it is. We're down 1-0 at this point.
Yeah. So down 1-0. 6 minutes later, then it just gets real terrible. We get Tommy, midfielder for Kansas City, passes it over to Johnny Russell, who's wide open in the box, who everybody's going to be thinking that he's going to be passing it to Alan Pulido, but instead of passing it to Pulido, who's wide open, he goes with his weaker foot, Johnny Russell does, and just buries it into the back of the net to go up 2-0.
Now, I wouldn't say wide open. Wide open, you're using very, very liberally. Glad had Russell marked. He had him marked. He just went to his strong side, so Johnny Russell's left side, which would be Glad's right side, because Alan Pulido was right there. So guarding his Johnny Russell's left side, then blocks a shot with his strong foot and a pass to Alan Pulido, puts him onto his weaker foot, which it was almost Glad was like half a step behind Johnny when Johnny did his cut to his right side. It was not expected for Johnny to hit it with his right foot. It wasn't.
Yeah.
He did. And granted, that's a skill play. Johnny Russell has years in the league, years playing professionally. And so this was a skill check for me.
Yeah, when I first saw that, I thought the ball would be going to Pulido because Pulido is skillful. We've seen what he's done in Liga MX playing for Guadalajara, and he's the leading goal scorer at 10 goals. So I'm like, oh, that's going to be an easy pass to him. But no, Russell did what he does and just buried that one.
It almost seemed like he whiffed it too. It wasn't a strong kick either. Granted, it was his weak foot, but it looked like a whiff. But it was one of those kicks where, as a goalkeeper, you think they're going to kick it harder than they actually do, and so you like prepare yourself, you flinch, and it's like, oh shoot, no.
But I see that. Yeah, it kind of seemed like that way.
Again, skill check. And again, it was for me a defensive error in the sense that Marcelo had to move out in order to guard the pass that went to Russell, and then Silva had to come running back. He was late because he went out to mark, which means who was out there supposed to be marking? It was Brody. So Brody was out of position too.
Do you think in this situation, yes, it's a midweek game. Yes, Marcelo's kind of coming off of injury. We want to give him minutes, but do you think if we had Vera playing instead of Silva, we would have seen something different?
Why you gotta come with the hard questions, man? I mean, it's hard to say because
for sure.
I mean, because you also think if it wasn't Silva, what if this was on Brody? What if this was on Oviedo on that whole side? Whose fault is it really?
Yeah, kind of going back to your point on the last first goal by Salawi. You can't really do the blame game because different things happen.
Yeah, on this one, I'm going to chalk it up to a skill check. I mean, the defense did what they tried to do, and for me, it was just Johnny Russell being Johnny Russell, just
absolutely
pure grit, and he literally pushed himself through that challenge that Justin had and scored.
What more can you do? But right before halftime, Kansas City nearly gets another one. 45th minute, we see Daniel Salawi crosses it over to Pulido, but he kicks it just barely right over the goal. And then that one, I honestly thought it was going to be the dagger. I thought there was going to be 3-0, and I was almost on life support. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, but I mean, yes. So the first half ends.
Yeah,
it's not like we were playing way worse than them. In fact, if you look at the stats, the only thing that they have a greater anything on us is the expected goals. They're almost at 1, and we're at 0.1. So it's not like this game is totally out of hands. It's just they had 2 good looks, and well, they took advantage of them. We didn't.
So if you're looking at the first half stats in this one, Kansas City was at 2 shots on target. We were at 1. So pretty similar, even though we're down by 2 goals. And like you said, expected goals, they're at 0.89. We're at 0.1.
Yeah. So I'm not too upset. But do you know what was weird? And I think everyone else felt the same way. This being down 2-0, I didn't feel like, at least for me, I had a feeling that we had something, and all of us, and I think I'll even do a little shout out to Hayden. He won't listen to this, so I'll even shout out to Hayden. He called out the halftime subs. He says Chicho, Luna, and
I was about to ask you that. Do you
Ruiz.
you said you weren't worried with us being down 2-0 at halftime. Do you feel like it was the fact of who we had on our bench? Is that why?
Oh heck yes, heck yes. I mean, you
Because
knew
it's Chicho time.
you know it's Chicho time, but you know that those people that we had on the bench, the same ones that played against Orlando, we they are so good at what they do and how they combine amongst themselves
Oh
that
yeah,
you knew you had confidence in them that they were going to at least control the game. The game was going
yeah.
to be under our control at that point. And so with Chicho coming in, Chicho, Luna, and Ruiz,
hmm
we literally get a combo play out of two of those players within the first 90 seconds.
Yeah, literally, it was less than, I feel like less than 90 seconds. First off, we get that beautiful left foot of Pablo Ruiz that he's used so many times this season. Long balls it over to Chicho, and Chicho, recognizing his former LAFC teammate Moose, Chicho with his first assist with RSL over to Moose, and Moose with his fifth goal for RSL just notches up, gets a goal for us.
I mean, that's just how much of an impact that Ruiz has in the
Uh-huh.
midfield, because of the way he can place the ball. That's how much impact that Chicho has, that he can attract people to him, which then leaves gaps open for people like Moose. And
Yeah.
Moose being able to, whether you chalk it up to whether they have had a good relationship at LAFC, or that Moose just knows when there's a gap, he knows where to run to. Chalk it up to whatever you want. The fact that we scored, we scored. Boom.
It seemed like when Moose scored that goal, he thought for himself. He thought that he was offside. I'll admit I thought he was as well because he was very close on the line and he wasn't really celebrating.
Not even close, my friend. You gotta watch. You gotta have like you have to have referee eyes, my friend. You have to have to have eyes looking like this. One at the person kicking the ball and one at the line. Like we call it iguana eyes,
Iguana eyes.
where it's just like whoop, 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 whoop,
Whoop,
whoop.
whoop, whoop, whoop. No,
But
but we're on the board. So down 2-1, then things are looking a lot different from the first half. So 50th minute, we get a Chicho left-footed shot from Diego Luna, who Diego Luna is then at that point kind of orchestrating the attack, which we haven't seen that much from him.
yeah, so the fact that Luna, even though he wasn't involved in the first goal, he became involved within the next. Well, he was heavily involved the next 15 minutes. So the first
Yeah,
15 minutes of the second half was all RSL. We were whatever was said at halftime. Luna hinted at what might have been said, even though he was out
yeah,
warming up. But what was said in the locker room really stuck. Or again, we can chalk this up to the first three subs made that much of a difference.
yeah, and it just shows everybody how deep and how scary our bench is that nobody wants to mess with us at all.
Yeah, so um, it was really promising those first 15 minutes, especially after the goal. After the goal, you could just feel the tide turn
Yeah,
drastically. But it was also within after those 15 minutes is when it looked pretty even for me. It was a lot of back and forth after the 60th minute.
yeah,
Um, and the stats will for everyone that wants to know, we follow FOTMob. So
we do.
FOTMob has the momentum table
Sometimes they do miss out on goals though. We will
sometimes, but
they will put the player in the wrong country as well.
that's also true. But the momentum table shows the rest of the second half after the 63rd, after the 62nd minute is pure sporting. I didn't feel that way.
No, no. It literally felt all RSL. It was all going towards the left side of the field. And
Now you're just being a fan. Stop it. It wasn't all RSL. I mean,
I'm taking off my glasses. My
take off
fan
take
glasses.
off take off your fan glasses. But I mean, yes, there were a lot of chances, or at least a lot of good plays from RSL
Yeah.
that stopped Kansas City from progressing. But there were times when it was really iffy on the back line.
Oh, I was gonna say let's jump to the 67th minute, where Chicho issued his yellow card for a sliding tackle on Kinda, but as we know, tweeted out by Trey today, the disciplinary committee for MLS is taking away that yellow card from Chicho.
If we all saw the replay where Chicho attempted to do a tackle, but there was zero contact whatsoever.
Yeah.
So thank heavens for Disco reviewing everything. But you also can't blame the referee.
When you first saw the ref give out that yellow card, were you confused or what were your thoughts?
Initial reaction, like he whistles it. The tackle looked exaggerated on the part of Sporting. It did, but
Mhm.
also it looked really weird because Chicho, when he went in, he kind of half slid, but then he stuck his cleats into the ground hard and he kind
Yeah.
of jumped. It was like almost from the rest view, it probably looked like there was some kind of contact because as soon as Chicho hit the ground and kind of jumped, it was at the same time where the Sporting Kansas City guy planted his feet and kind of did a half flip.
Yeah, it definitely did not look correct. It looked kind of awkward. So I'm happy that Disco came back and said no yellow card. It's not going to be he's not going to be held with that. So happy.
I mean, again, I'm not going to blame the ref on this one because from
No.
his point of view, he was looking at it from a perpendicular view, and
Oh,
from that
absolutely.
view, it looked like a foul and it looked yellow card worthy. But obviously, he doesn't have the VAR can't help him on cautions.
No.
So, I mean, as much as this is where I get kind of bugged. I'm going to go on a 30-second rant. This is where I get bugged where people are like, how does a ref give out a card like that? Bro, if you've ever refereed ever in your flipping life, you would know that looking at that from that angle, that'd be a foul every day of the week if you're looking
Absolutely.
at it from that angle. But because we have couch referees that exist, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, that's not a foul." Duh. If you put that same referee in your position and seeing all the replays that we see, he totally agree. Be like, "Oh yeah, I don't know why I called that."
It's
So
true. Another reason why people need to be referees out there. So
yeah, so at the end of an instant replay, every time we watch it, do what they say. Go sign up to be a referee. See how it feels.
absolutely get yelled at by parents.
Yeah,
It's good in your veins.
it's good. It's good. But
But right after the Chicho yellow card, which obviously was taken away, we then get our saving grace, who comes off the bench, the one and only Anderson Julio, who comes in for the Moose is loose.
the moose is loose. Yeah, I mean, good. Let's just say it right now. Good use of substitutions by Pablo this game. One using him at halftime, that was absolutely
I
out of
I
out of the
I
ordinary.
if those three didn't happen, this game would have been a different scenario.
Yeah, because you would have had Kansas City still riding on the momentum if we did not come out the way that we did.
Oh yeah, because they only used two substitutions in this whole game. They only brought out Russell and Tommy. Like they still kept in Polito and Salawi the whole game.
Yeah, which also someone also mentioned something similar to that, saying that that tells you how much confidence Vermes has with his bench.
Yeah. So about 3 minutes after Julio coming into the game, he steals the ball from Rosero. He literally he let a pickpocket him. Like his speedy wheels, literally 3 minutes coming in, just stole the ball from their defender, dribbles it. From looking at that, did you see a foul with the way he stole the ball? It seemed in my eyes possibly.
Could it have been called? Yes. But what's his bucket? Rubio Vasquez was calling the game.
Yeah.
Um, I was actually kind of iffy on it too, because there were some tackles where he called them and some that he didn't. I was like, ee. So
In my opinion, I don't think that this goal should have stood. He should have
standed.
stand. Thanks.
I'm just kidding. That's not the right word.
No, in my opinion, it should have been called a foul, and that Kansas City should have gotten the free kick out of it.
If you're the referee, you would have called the foul.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. Because I only say interesting because if obviously we have the opportunity to look at it in slow motion, but if you look at it, Julio sticks in his foot, hits the ball with his heel,
Yeah.
and the ball squirts out because Julio hit the ball first.
Yeah.
As a result to him hitting the ball, he hip checks Rosero.
Yeah.
Which does that, and this is, you can tell me yes or no, I don't care. but would you still call that a foul even though he got the ball first, and because of his movement at the ball, not at the player, hits the player?
Obviously, if he's getting the ball, then it's clean. It's clean on the play. But from my vantage point, the way Anderson Julio was coming in, it looked like he got Rosero first, then ball.
Glad you're not a pro referee.
It's okay. It would have been a lot different scenario, and everybody would be booing me on the way home.
Yep. Oh man, but for me, it was a great tackle, great hustle. First off,
I am glad. Literally 3 minutes after he came in, he equals the game. And here's a little fun stat with you. With his goal coming off the bench, that's his 12th career goal coming off the bench for Anderson Julio.
So what does that tell us?
He shouldn't be starting any games.
Nope. That's just from my point of view. I wouldn't start him a single game because of how much impact he has as a substitution.
I'm telling you, Anderson Julio is what João Plata was back in the day.
João. João. But I mean, this is also his third goal in 3 games. My friend, he's on our tear. Like if we don't start him this next game, he's coming as a substitution, and I would be worried if I were the Red Bulls.
Yeah. They'll need to be drinking Red Bull to be able to catch up with him. But
bad.
So we right after Anderson Julio ties this game up 2-2 in the 72nd, we fast forward to the 89th minute, literally right before the 90th minute, where Anderson Julio
sorry, the 89th usually does come before the 90th. So way to go, Captain Obvious.
I'm just learning how to count, okay?
Stop it. That's
no, but right before stoppage time for us, we get another Anderson Julio 1-on-1 with the keeper, but instead of chipping the keeper, he literally just drills the keeper, and an easy save for him.
But we've seen this from Julio before.
This has happened like twice this season, 2 other times.
We've seen it in his 3-year history with us that when he's on a breakaway, somehow he kicks it right at the keeper. So as we all got our hopes up seeing him on that breakaway. We're like, oh my gosh, we're going to do this. But it's Anderson Julio. He kicks it right into I mean, if you look at his goal, where does he kick it?
It was right on the ground.
But come on, we just said it. Where does he kick it?
Oh, right
at the goalkeeper.
Yeah, right on the goalkeeper.
and his goal was right at the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper happened to spread his legs out.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't surprise us.
No, not at all. That definitely did cost us the game 100%. Just looking at that was an easy.
Now. It didn't cost us the game. The first half was going to cost us the game.
Absolutely, but just looking at that, when you're right in front of the keeper, no defenders either side, it's just an easy chip.
Now, I'm just gonna get on you. Now, have you ever ran 15 miles an hour and trying to chip a ball?
You know, I
No.
did back. I did back when I was in high school.
Oh, you stop it. Stop it. Here we are, Mr. Uncle Rico.
You want to see me throw a football over No, I'm not gonna throw a football over the mountains.
Over those mountains?
No, but um, right. The last thing for this game, 91st minute, we get the one and only Gavin Beavers, who terrific, huge save by Kinda, and we've seen it several times this season. Beavers does not disappoint for his age, for what he's done so far this season, and that was a tremendous save to keep that 1 point that we need on the road.
The only thing I have in my head going right now is there's only one Gavin Beavers.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say.
Gavin Beavers.
I thought you were gonna say, "Damn, that's a good beaver."
One Gavin Beavers. There's only one Gavin Beavers. See, I swear I've heard that in the EPL somewhere.
It is. It's
All right,
definitely a bar song.
there we go. But flip. If you, yeah, there's no words to explain it except for just that was just an amazing save. His recovery from the front post to the back post and jumping, like it looked like a Dibu Martinez. Like
It really did.
he just spread himself out, hits him in the chest, goes out, and he scored a touchdown. He grabbed it in the end zone.
And it was kind of funny when he did save it off his chest. He like then pounces on the ball, thinking that it's still in.
Well, all keepers do that, really. I mean, come on. They
Yeah.
try to say, "Oh, it was in, it was out." But man, if it wasn't for that save, obviously we would have lost that game.
Yeah, that second half, I think, is what everybody was expecting the whole game to be like, not just the second one. But I'm happy. I'm happy that we were able to slip away with 1 point instead of 0. So good result for us. With that, that puts us at 4th place. We did not change from the beginning of the night to the end. So
Yeah, I'm all right with it. We're good. I mean, what else? Oh man, I think maybe we should move on. We could talk about this game for a lot longer.
moving ahead to tomorrow's game.
Seriously, let's move ahead. But
Yes.
I do want to mention one more thing. One more thing. Lawfulson did come off at halftime.
He did. He did.
My personal opinion, Lawfulson is a good player. I don't know if he is up to the level that now Pablo, Brian, and now Nelson are at. I'm not sure if he's up to that level. He's a good midfielder. I just don't know if he's up to a starter level with the team that we have because
Oh yeah,
I just didn't feel it.
I would say not for our team per se, but maybe for a different MLS team like Colorado Rapids or.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is that he's supposed to be on our depth chart.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's not going to be high. I wouldn't put him high in our depth chart because if you already have Ojeda and Ruiz playing like lights out. You add in Palacio, which he adds a good defensive part of this because the other 2-3 are more offensive. They like to push up. Pablo likes to stick back a little bit, but Palacio adds that defensive depth dimension, which is really good. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe tomorrow we see a Palacio Ruiz pairing.
That I've been wanting that pairing so badly ever since we signed Nelson. Just we'll just get into it right now.
Do it.
But first things first, we do have a game tomorrow against the New York Red Bulls. And my friend, do you remember who back in 2008, very first game here at the Right? Well, I don't think you remember. I don't think you were around.
No, I was around. I was around for another year. I was around.
You're around for 2008. But my friend, do you remember who scored the very first goal at the Riot?
Not an RSL player.
Not an RSL player at all.
No, it was Von something.
Vanderberg.
That's what Vandenberg.
Yeah, so all you who voted Olave, he's the first RSL player.
But the question was, who was the first MLS player?
It's okay. I got stumped myself. I thought it was Olave as well.
Yep, it's true. I stumped him because
He
let's be real here. As fans, we don't remember the bad part of that first game. We just remember that we scored and that it was
exactly.
Olave.
Yeah, so RSL does have their history against New York Red Bulls, of course, in that game. And then if we want to fast forward to losing to them in, was it the Eastern? I think it was the Eastern Conference Final. Eastern Conference Final at home.
Yes, it was 1-0.
Yeah,
Again, it was a goal by
by Vanderberg.
Vandenberg.
Yeah. So we have our history against Red Bulls. Right now, Red Bulls sit at 11th place at 26 points, so right outside the playoff picture. They will be getting their defender back who was playing with the U.S. men's national team for Gold Cup in John Tolkien, who is at 4 assists on the season.
Eek. That's not a good one to
Yeah.
have come back.
Yeah. So what are you looking for in this one?
I'm looking for the following. If we can bring everyone that played in Orlando as starters, if we can start that lineup, I don't think we'll have very much resistance. To be
Yeah.
honest, I honestly think that this is going to be a lot easier than I think it'll be as easy as the Orlando game. To be honest,
You really think so?
I mean, can you just feel the confidence that the team has right now? Can you not say, look, I totally think that our front six are going to score.
Yeah, but if you want to just go backwards really quick for the New York Red Bulls, they just played a midweek game just like we did. They played against one of the first place teams in the Eastern Conference in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
At halftime, they were up 1-0 off of a Fernandez penalty kick. But if we look at the first half stats for them, they were at 48% possession on a 0.93 expected goals, while Cincinnati was at a 0. So New York was literally owning them in the first half.
Owning them in the sense that also Cincinnati didn't have a single shot in that first half.
That's true. But Cincinnati, if you look at their lineup, they were literally going all out with Barrel, Acosta, Pinto. So they shouldn't really have any excuses for not being able to have any firepower there.
Look, I can't really comment much on Cincinnati because I obviously don't see them play much, but we all know that they had their main striker out as well.
Yeah.
Who is it? Brandon Vasquez.
Exactly. We've seen what he's done already for the Gold Cup.
So when you have your main striker out, that usually pairs well with Acosta, obviously Cincinnati is going to be hurting, and they were hurting. So that's why I don't think that New York brought it as much as Cincinnati didn't have it.
Yeah. So New York Red Bulls' last away victory for them this season was all the way around Memorial Day, May 31st at Miami.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, so it's been a hot second since they've won an away match.
You can say that again. Holy cow. And against Miami, it was only a 1-0.
Yeah. So nothing too great to celebrate as we've seen Miami not be the hottest of teams.
Yeah. And also, everyone's been hearing all these stats all day. So when you're listening to this, you'll probably be like, oh, yeah, whatever. The Red Bulls have only beat us once at the Riot or at American First Field.
That's correct. I had to do a double take. I was like, yeah, you're right.
They've only beat us once, and that was 2008.
That Eastern Conference.
Since then, we've had their number at home.
Yeah. Even when they did have Thierry Henry and Tim Cahill, we never lost. We tied to them at home.
Right. Yeah. And but we haven't beat them at home since 2018. We've only played them twice since then.
Yeah.
But we're due for a victory against them.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like you said previously, I think this might have a little repeat of last week in the firework match against Orlando.
I mean,
It is it,
I have that much confidence in our front six that if you put in for me, I would take out Krylock for this game. I would put
oh,
in it would be a Chicho
and
um
Moose.
and Moose. Um I don't know if Sava's gonna start. So barring Sava doesn't start, let's
Hmm.
put in um heck who did we do in our second half this last
Give
one? We
us
did
Moon Boy. Give us
well
Moon
yeah.
Boy.
So we'll have Luna, Palacio, Pablo, and
No Gomez.
do you put in Gomez?
Who else would you go with? Because you got Chang who is possibly going to be out because of injury.
Yeah, he's questionable, I think it was. Um yeah, I would put in Gomez if that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I would just stick with I would I would go with same back line, but take out Silva and put in Vera.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. In fact,
and then and then maybe
that's lineup.
and then I would honestly I would go one more game with Beavers
Maybe.
because I think he needs to still build his confidence.
Maybe. I'm not going to comment too much on the goalkeeper situation
Yeah,
because I'm like,
you're a little in betweenish.
yeah. But if you put in those six up top, you're bound to get a goal from
Oh,
someone.
absolutely, absolutely. But it's gonna be a hot one tomorrow. Not I'm not just saying on the field, but it's gonna be temperature. It's gonna be a hot one at kickoff. So expect a hydration break. So stay hydrated. Bring some sunscreen and expect a great match tomorrow against the Red Bulls.
It's true. It's true.
It's true. You gonna be there?
I should be there,
You
but
should
not
be
with
there.
you.
Not with me, unfortunately.
I'm going to take my kids to their first RSL game this season.
Oh, that's adorable. That you
We're gonna
win.
we're gonna die of heat.
So if you guys see Alan, donate some water. Give the children, help the children and give them water.
Help the children. Oh
But
my god.
awesome, my friend. But with that being said, you know what time it is? Prediction time.
Sorry.
Since
um,
I started it last time, take it away, my friend.
Thank you, good sir. Um, because if you haven't noticed already, I'm super confident in this team right now, especially with the front six that I just mentioned.
I'm liking your confidence today.
I am full of it today. And so with that, this should be, and I say should because
Mm-hmm.
it should. It's gonna be a one where it's gonna be fought, but we're gonna come out on top. It's gonna be 3-1 for RSL.
Ooh, I like it. Minus the fact you're giving the Red Bulls a goal, but I like it. I like it.
I have to give myself a buffer.
Okay. So lots of goals I'm hearing. It's gonna be a hot one, of course, but we're gonna be back at home. Firepower galore. Give me a 2-0. Give me a Dos a Cero.
Dos a Cero. All right.
I like it. We get the shutout. 2 shutouts back to back at home. We're feeling good.
Feeling good in the neighborhood.
What more can you ask for?
For me to stop dancing.
For you to stop dancing? No, never. But I will be at the game, of course. If you see me, I will be at the tailgate prior to the game around 6 o'clock ish. If you see me, come say hi. I'll be solo. I won't be with Alan, unfortunately.
I'll be there probably right before game time because you know how kids are.
You know how kids are. But if you are not following us on the Instagram, on the threads, even the Twitter, we are at the RSL Bros. Give us a follow. If you're watching this video right now, hit the subscribe button. That'll be awesome. And you got anything else?
Oh, he has a Spotify.
Oh, if you guys do not want to see our faces, because I don't know who does want to see our faces sometimes, it gets kind of hideous. Head to Spotify. You can just be driving, put on your headphones, go to the gym. That way. All the
You
fun
did
stuff.
good job. Good job.
Absolutely. But until tomorrow, we'll see you guys tomorrow at the game. Take care, guys. Peace.
Ciao.